Hello, welcome back to the channel, and this is a channel where we give you reviews, playthroughs, don't do unboxings, might do a few playthroughs in the near future, but we generally like to talk a lot of bollocks about tabletop gaming in general. And in this video we are going to be talking about the Kickstarter Ultimate Deluxe version of Cyclades Legendary Edition. And in this massive fuck off box you'll be placing your dudes on the map. You'll be making offerings to various deities in the hope to gain their favour that will allow you to take control of not 2 but 3 metropolises that will hopefully allow you to win the game. So in this video we're going to be giving you a very brief overview of the rules. We'll be telling you what we do like, what we don't like, and we'll come back and we'll tell you whether or not the Ultimate Cyclades Legendary Edition is worth your time and bother today and in the future. So remember, if you're new here, then please consider subscribing to this channel, hit the like button and all that YouTube bullshit. See you after this. So, the Ultimate Cyclades Legendary Edition. How'd you play this game? So it feels like we've done this review like a billion times. Yeah, I've talked about Cyclades or Cyclades more times than I've masturbated. That's not actually true, by the way. But after, I don't know how long it's been. Was it 2 years? I don't know. But the deluxeified version of the retail edition that we reviewed a few weeks ago has finally arrived. We have cracked it open. We've ripped it a new arsehole. And these are our thoughts about what was once our favourite game of all time for a number of years, right? So in the ultimate version of the Cyclades Legendary Edition, you are going to be taking control of various factions. Yeah, your faction units are going to be troops and you're going to have ships as well. First thing that you're going to do is you're going to be doing some Catanisms. You'll be placing a few units out on the board, and then the last player to do the first round will be the first player to do the second round. You'll end up with a few units and a few ships on the board. Yeah, every player's going to get 5 gold pieces that they will hide behind their screen, and then you will start bidding on the favour of the gods. Yeah, dependent on how many players are playing the game, you're going to have different gods available, right? You'll see that there is set amounts that you can bid. You no longer go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and the maximum bid that could be given is 25 gold pieces. Yeah, so you will announce your bid and you'll place your little marker on the relevant spot, and then it's the next player's turn, and if they bid higher than you on the god that you chose, they can kick you out and you can't go back there until you've gone to another god. Eventually someone will have to go to Apollo because either they want to, which is a little bit of a tall order. Well, sometimes it's good to go to Apollo, right? Because Apollo's going to give you a couple of gold coins and some cornucopias that give you income every round. Yes, sometimes it's good to go there to boost your income. But once everybody has a slot and nobody's been kicked out, then you will pay your costs. If you find out that you haven't got enough money, you're going to have to round half of your cash that you do have down, and then you're going to do another offering phase, right? So once you've done this, you will go into what is called the maintenance phase. This is where you can pay a priestess to retain any monsters that you bought during the actions phase of the previous round. Yeah, you'll also be able to move any monster miniatures to an adjacent space if they're on the map from the previous round. Yeah, this is the only way that you can retain control of monsters, whereas in the older version you couldn't retain their services. They only lasted for 1 cycle. Yeah, so once you've done that, then you will take the actions that you have chosen on the gods. Yeah, there's 2 types of actions. There's mandatory actions, which you have to do unless they are impossible to fulfill, and then you get a bunch of optional actions that you could choose to do at your leisure. Yeah, so the first god that you could bid on is Athena. Yeah, she will give you a university, and a university is one of the 4 buildings that you will need to build to gain a metropolis. Once you've done this, then you take off all the buildings and then you will put a metropolis in its space, and you'll draw from the string bag a metropolis bonus token, and you'll do what it says. Yeah, universities do fuck all. Yeah, which, like I said in my previous video, isn't a fucking surprise. Yeah, considering they're full of fucking lazy bastard students, of which I was one once. Yeah, so I know what I'm talking about. You also get to recruit a philosopher. Yeah, so once you've got 4 philosophers, you will have to immediately trade them in, and you'll be able to build another metropolis. Athena also lets you buy another philosopher for 4 points if you want to, and then all the gods allow you to buy a mythological creature, right? You'll look at the ones that are available, you'll see their cost range from 2 up to 5, I think it is, and if you've got any temples on the board, they will reduce the cost by 1, yeah, all the way down to fuck all. And also each god allows you to do heroic moves. If you've got a hero on the board, then you can move them and any troops that are with them or that you pick up along the way, any number of spaces you want, as long as you pay 1 gold piece for each space that you move. Yeah, so now that I've explained those 2 things, times. I'm not going to explain it again, so don't fucking ask me to repeat myself. Alright, so Zeus, the guy that killed his old man, yeah? Well, I suppose Kronos did eat his babies, didn't he? So maybe he deserved it. You get to build a temple. Already told you what temples do, yeah? And you get to recruit a priestess, and I've already told you what did I tell you what priestesses do? Yes, I did. But they also give you a -1 to the cost of paying for the favour of the gods, right? And you also get to recruit an additional priestess for 4 coins, yeah? You've also got Poseidon. This geezer will allow you to build a port. This gives you +1 in sea battles. You'll also be able to build more fleets and stick them out on the water. And fleets can act as little bridges to move troops between islands, yeah? So the next god that you could bid on is Ares. This is the god of war. He will let you build a fortress, gives you +1 in land battles. You'll be able to recruit extra troops, and you'll be able to move troops around the map, yeah? If you ever get into a battle on land or sea by another player moving into a space where you have got troops, or if you move into a space where they've got troops, yeah, then you can have a land battle. Add up the strength of all of the units in the space. Creatures don't count for this unless you've got the Minotaur, which gives you +2, and then you roll a die. Whoever's got the highest will win the round. The loser will lose a troop. If there's a tie, you both lose a troop, and then the defender gets a chance to retreat. The attacker will then get a chance to retreat, and if both people retreat, or if one retreats, that's enough of that. If they don't, you'll keep going until one person has been mullered, right? So Hera, which is a new god compared to the old version, will let you build any type of building that you want, yeah? She will also grant you the services of a single mercenary, and you'll be able to buy more mercenaries from her for a set fee. And she will also allow you to recruit a hero. There are always 2 heroes available unless somebody's already bought one in the round, and these will give you a benefit, and they'll also give you a sacrificial benefit if you decide to kill them off. And more often than not, these are ways to build a metropolis on the slide when I was watching it, so maybe you should go and see Hera and yeah, cozy up to her bosom, you know what I mean? And then finally, you can go to Apollo. I've already told you, so I'm not going to repeat myself, but yeah, good looking fellow, isn't he, with his little harp. So at the end of the cycle, if you've built 3 metropolises and nobody else has, then you'll win the game. If not, then it's the player with the most gold that wins the game. And if a player is eliminated, then it doesn't matter whether somebody's built 3 metropolises. The person with the most metropolises will win the game, or if there's a tie with that one, then the player with the most gold will win the game of Cyclades, right? What do we like about the Ultimate Edition of the Cyclades Legendary Edition? So the first thing that we like about this, as opposed to the retail version of this, is that there are more monsters and there are more heroes. This obviously means that there is more variety, and also there are more ways to win the game. You remember we said that heroes, more often than not, will give you a sacrificial ability. Well, if there's more heroes in the box, then you're going to have more ways to get metropolises, yeah? So for instance, you might end up snuggling up to Pericles. His military power means that each of his heroic moves will only cost 1 gold piece. What did I say it was? I'm sure I said it was 1 gold piece. Maybe I meant it's 1 gold piece and 2 gold pieces and 3 gold pieces, etc. And his sacrificial power says if all of your troops are on the board, build a metropolis, right? No fanning about with this one. Just get all your troops on the board and you're referred there to winning the game. Fucking super. Or you might end up cleaning your kitchen floor with Ajax. His military power says he has a battle strength of 2, and his sacrificial power means that if you control 7 land areas, you can build a metropolis, yeah? So these heroes are fucking awesome, as are the extra monsters that you get with this one, yeah? Because the, what was it, the Caledonian boar, I don't think it was in the retail version, but it's in this one, and it looks like a menacing bastard. So yeah, super, more stuff, more ways to kill each other, and more ways to win. The second thing that we like about this over the retail version, and over any version of this game, for example, is that you've got miniatures in this one, and not those sort of lackluster, characterless meeples, yeah? And not only that, each faction in this has a animal type thing molded into it. So you might have like, well, I thought it was rabbits to start with, but it turns out it was like eagle clan, yeah? Or you've got the dolphins, the snakes, and some of the other ones, yeah? So the fact that the troops have got a little bit more character and sort of something about them rather than being generic meeples elevates the theme of this game even more strongly than it already is. So the final thing, hundreds of things that we like about this, but for the purposes of a very, very short video, the final thing that we like about this version of Cyclades is the 3D buildings and 3D metropolises that are included in the box, yeah? In the retail version, these were just represented as cardboard tokens, yeah, which didn't really help anybody with anything, yeah, because it just meant that the board looked messy. It was very difficult to differentiate between what was what on the board. With this, there's no problems whatsoever. You can see instantly which islands have metropolises, which islands have different types of buildings, and it just aids you in not forgetting to add that +1 to your land battle before you get your ass kicked, you know what I mean? So what don't we like about the ultimate version of the Cyclades Legendary Edition? So the first thing that we don't like about this, and this is a real pain in the arse for our group because we play with 6 players quite a bit. This game still doesn't offer out of the box 6 players all versus all. Yeah, you have to play in 3 teams of 2, and what with us being competitive lumps of shit, we don't really want to be piggybacking on somebody else's fucking victory. Yeah, because it's my fucking victory. Yeah, I don't want anyone fucking leeching off of me. I'm not going to leech off anyone else, so you better be damn sure I ain't going to be fucking leeching off of you, right? So yeah, it's just a bit of a fucking ball ache, isn't it, having like sort of to go in teams when there's enough components in the box to allow for 6 players against each other, and it's just a shame in this day and age that that hasn't been accounted for again. So the second thing that we don't really like about this is that some of the card effects that are included in the box are still a little bit unclear. Yeah, even though they've included some kind of clarification thing in the rulebook, I still found myself wondering what some cards meant. Yeah, there was a hero in here, I can't remember the name of him, but it said something about that you can activate his sacrificial power if you go to Apollo, and I'm thinking, well, can't you do that anyway? Yeah, I don't think there's anything in the book that says you can't do the sacrificial shit when you're visiting Apollo, but does that mean you can't activate the sacrificial power if you're not at Apollo, if you do go there? Do you know what I mean? It's all a bit higgledy-piggledy, and it's just a little bit disappointing that we've been waiting so long for this, yeah, and it's such a stunning production that it's not let down, but there's still things where you're going to have to be sort of searching through the fucking internet to find the answer. Oh well, never mind, eh? So the final thing that we could find, and it's a little bit of a quibble, yeah, is that there's a couple of printing errors in the manual, yeah. I think Bruno Cavallo has come out, not actually come out, but he's come out and said that some of the rules in the book are wrong or something, and we found a printing error where it says about the volcanoes being adjacent to each other. Well, in the book it says tile 12, but it's clearly tile 11 or something like that, yeah. So we were hunting around for tile 12 thinking, where the fuck is it? And it doesn't actually exist, I don't think. So yeah, that's a bit of a fucking weird thing. But yeah, it's just sort of lazy shit like that that they could have sort of mopped up and made it look a bit more professional, but I don't know how that got through. So to summarise, is the ultimate version of the Cyclades Legendary Edition worth your time and bother today and in the future? So we are going to say yes, absolutely. This is once again our favourite game of all time. The ultimate version of the Cyclades Legendary Edition is hands down the best re-implementation of any board game that we have ever seen. Literally everything has been upgraded, yeah. Not only the rules and all of the mechanics have been upgraded for the better, but also all of the components, the artwork, the aesthetics of the board have been made infinitely more impressive. We would have liked a proper 6-player mode so that I can destroy everybody that's on the board and not have to be sort of, you know, Siamese twin to somebody, do you know what I mean? And better card clarification than what's in the book. A proper FAQ would have benefited this no end. But all this shit aside, if you haven't played Cyclades, then this is definitely the way to go. You won't be disappointed by this. The retail edition is still good value for money, yeah, but this just pushes the boat out that little bit further and gives you a more cohesive and well-rounded experience, yeah. But if you have played Cyclades, if you played the old version, fucking dump that. Set fire to it or put it in the dumpster or something like that. And if you are a big fan, this is a fucking no-brainer, yeah. This is without doubt our favourite board game of all time, yeah. Had this come to us before Christmas, it would have been #1 on our list, as it has been for the last billion years. And yeah, it's one of the best games that has ever been made, and probably the best re-implementation of any game anywhere. And there is no fucking anthropomorphic animals either. So there you go, that is the ultimate version of the Cyclades Legendary Edition. Remember, if you are new here, please consider subscribing to this channel, hit the like button and all that YouTube bullshit. See you next Tuesday.